This presentation covers the Open Allure dialog systems, design, coding, content, and distribution. With regard to the design, we're aiming for intuitive actions, speaking and pointing. The code supporting speaking is a callback function from the voice recognition engine that immediately repeats "you said" and the answer that was provided. The code then proceeds to compare that spoken answer with the list of answers in the question and answer format that will be discussed in a moment. If it doesn't match anything, the code also checks for other words which could indicate which answer was desired: 1, 2, 3, first, second, third. The other intuitive way of indicating answers is to point to them. The way the code handles this option is to place a sequence of boxes across on each row where there might be an answer. The color box function will return a 1 if the box is selected. So any row count greater than 0 indicates there is a selection on that row, and this loop is working from top to bottom on the screen, so it will take the topmost selected row as the row to first highlight. When the highlight begins, the time is captured from the Pygame clock, and as the highlight continues, the dwell time is calculated, and that dwell time is used to change the color of the word that are words that make up the answer until the total amount of color level change has been exhausted. Color level goes to 0. That means the user has actually selected that choice, and we break out of the loop with the subsequent processing then taking place. This gives a look and feel to the program which is in need of a little bit of improvement. The initial raw image has many of the boxes set off by bright background light levels, but once you've gone to the green screen, those spurious selections do disappear, but you're left then with this kind of ugly black and white. One tester described it as a skeleton or skull image in the middle of the screen, which perhaps in a subsequent version we can substitute the raw image again for that portion of the display. For the coding, the current implementation is to put everything into one Python script file. The PyScripter Code Explorer does give a nice overview of the functions in this program. However, classify and regroup are two functions that parse the content files, and build question prepares the text for display on the screen. The video capture player class handles all of the pointing interaction, while the speak rule handles all the voice inputs, and green screen does the calibration, thresholding, and background subtraction that makes the pointing feature work in diverse lighting environments. As for the content, the aim here was to make things as simple as possible so non-programmers could generate content. The format is a question followed by a series of answers and responses to those answers with a separator between the answer and the response that includes a semicolon and optionally a number that indicates how many questions to advance if that answer is selected. So if the user picks Mary here, they'll go one question ahead. The system will respond with the "you will make Mary had a little lamb" or something, and the double semicolon on the next question is another way to indicate move on to the subsequent question. A single semicolon will cause the system to repeat the response that follows the semicolon, but leave the user on that same question until they can make the correct choice. The distribution for OpenAllure is through Google Code. We have a domain name, openallureds.org. I hope you'll come take a look at the code, make some suggestions and improvements, and have a lot of fun.